rising up from the ground. A gratitude rising up from the ground. A gratitude rising up from the ground. A gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up and burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, so burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, oh light it up, oh light it up, oh light it up. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up and burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, so burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Yeah. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down. Burn it down, burn it down, burn it down, burn it down, burn it down. So light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up and burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, so burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. So light it up and burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground. Light it up, so burn it down. Gratitude rising up from the ground.
Morning, guys. What's going on? So that was just like kind of selfish of me, frankly. I felt like getting a sunrise in. I felt like doing some drone footage stuff, so I did. We got Michael from EO2SA here, amazing block producer and friend of the show and of the Uplift. Of course, my good buddy Jimmy. And I just asked Greg, like, hey, Greg, we don't have a plan for this morning. you want to come and hang out? And he's like, no plan. I'm in. That's it's pretty standard for us. Anyway, so good morning. Welcome to this thing that we do all the time. And we legitimately don't have a plan. I'm still like in a daze for how crazy the weekend went. If you didn't notice, the title of today's show is BP and Chillin'. Wait, what the hell? The rewards pool is going to be at 2 million when we start. So that's a thing that like I didn't see coming. I mean,
well, I mean, it's not guaranteed. I think we need like 3 more whacks or something.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna stake it and start letting it earn some money for us.
Yeah, I saw that conversation this morning, Michael. You guys have a way to stake that, and there's a little interest. Is that right?
You can. Yeah, it's not very much, but like Greg, you could do that with your wax too.
Yeah. So I guess that's a good talking point. So actually, one of the features of Wax is that it's got this built-in voter reward mechanism that's really actually complex and mathematical. But if you vote for, I think it's like 16 BPs and they don't miss their blocks and whatnot, they perform good to encourage you to vote for good guilds, as Wax calls them. There's a portion of Wax rewards that are dedicated and emitted daily to all of those that vote and claim. So the idea was, if you're just going to sit on it, if you get some bags, might as well, it's like a savings account type of thing, but you'll be supporting some good BPs. I did say the one requirement was, I know 1 BP you need to add to that list, but beyond that,
I can't imagine which one that might be.
We'll do whichever. Hey, just so you know, I mean, on some of I have actually not voted for ourselves because I broke things so bad. It wasn't good enough for our vote. And he hit me up. He was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah. What better way to prove our principles of? I mean, we didn't vote for ourselves this month because Michael hadn't fixed what was broken." So,
yeah, I like that though. That's good. Those are my kind of principles. Just to reiterate though, as well, there was some chatter in the Telegram channels, before the Rail NFTs went out, and I think it's the same as EOS, right? It's if you want to unstake those wax, you need to give it 3 days. Is that correct, Michael?
Yeah. It's kind of a security mechanism / whatever. But yeah, that's the idea. But in the world of scripting and computers, what math do you want to do? When do you want to do it? And just let it rock, right?
Nice. I think it looks like Anders is dipped into the special mushrooms this morning. How can mirrors be real if our eyes aren't real?
Cool.
What kind of mirrors do they have in the pyramid over there?
Which are our chicken cod pyramid?
No, the Anders pyramid, the water pyramid.
Oh yeah, the water pyramid. Oh, that one.
Or that other one, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty special. Pretty special.
Anders is special.
It's kind of interesting though, because I wrote like a whole paper on this like back in the day. It was like, how we learn colors is like it was kind of a joke paper, but it was like how you learn colors, right? Like people point to red and they say red, right? They point to blue, you say blue. Like this is how you learn it. There's no descriptor other than like seeing it, pointing it, touching it, and saying it, right? So it was kind of, like I said, a joke paper, but I was like, this is my explanation for colorblind, because like when I see blue, maybe you see green, and that's why your shirt looks horrible to me, but it looks good to you, right? Like there's no saying that like maybe everyone's eyes see something like
that.
Different.
That's a big, kind of a deep thing that I had a realization of, is that, I mean, red is red because we all see it in our own aspect, but what if it really isn't the same? I mean, and those internet memes, the blue dress, gold dress, whatever that is. I mean, that really just kind of exemplifies there's more than you would assume. It's not always the same. We just say, yeah, way more. That's what I've been taught.
and now we know that proves out, because we know that birds and some other kinds of animals see dozens, if not hundreds, more colors than we do. They see colors that we can't see.
Or less, I mean, dogs black and white or whatever.
Right.
That's why people show up here every morning, Jimmy. They come here. They come here for the uplift, and they stay for the, is it green or is it gold?
You never know what you're like. We really are the box of chocolates of internet TV, because you really never know what you're going to get.
That's true.
I'm creamy nougat all the way down.
right? Is it gonna be a blockchain producer or a block producer in the uplift, or is it gonna be some kind of tech thing in the uplift, or is it gonna be some kind of philosophical discussion in the uplift? Anyway,
Hey, do you
there's
know
a
the
lot
average-
of talk about like
average
beaming
human head weighs
ourselves
8
into
pounds.
this thing. By the way, sorry, Mike, go ahead.
I was gonna say the average human head weighs 8 pounds, just to keep some randomness.
Thanks. That's good. I like that a lot. Well, and Greg came out this morning with, "Hey, did you guys know that poop in Minecraft is square?" Yeah,
I mean, it makes
Everything in Minecraft Square.
That's
Well,
why
I mean-
that's why the villagers always have that cranky look on their face.
not the sun anymore.
'Cause
Thank you, Silder
cubic poop
Shaders.
is not fun.
All right, guys, let's rock some gratitudes, and then we can go back to talking about whatever the fuck was just going on.
I'm gracious that Greg taught me to mine.
Wow.
All right.
And I'm not even the best at that. That's a Donna. That's laugh
Hey,
track joint.
As you see, all I needed was I right click. Oh, okay. Watch this.
Yeah.
Hold my beer. I'm grateful for. I don't know how I want to describe this. I'm grateful for the belief of the community.
Okay.
Because I've been surprised at the positive reaction to the hitting a technical issue, and people bought rail plots anyway. People are going to buy land anyway. People understand that this is a complex beast, and I'm grateful for a community that understands how complex this is.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. All right, Jimmy, how about you?
Yeah, I'm grateful for the misses, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
You want
I
me
mean,
to say the misses?
yeah, the misses. I'm all about the misses.
All right.
It's one of those weird things that, like, I don't want to get into it.
All right.
For the record,
The possessive my thing, I don't like it. So
for the record, that could be interpreted a couple different ways. I mean, I do it for the honeys. You mean the misses as in a proper noun, so that's what I say. But that's what I try to explain to people is, when you get things out of context in raw text, like text messages, some people read that differently.
It's interesting though, because like that's pretty common in to say in like Australia or England, right? So I think like it's interesting, like you say, like I've got so many weird like accents or like back, like being in Japan, being broken English, having lived in Hawaii with like Hawaiian English, broken English, like American English. Like most of my friends in Japan are like British or Australian. So like, there's nothing like, it's hilarious. Like when I first came back to Japan from Hawaii, I would say mahalo to everyone. Everyone would look at me weird. The only time I've ever been looked at more like weirder is like when I go back to Canada or the States and I say, no problem, mate, it's fine. And they're like, oh, what? You'd say mate, like a Canadian accent in America? What's wrong with you?
I always chuckle at Canadians mispronouncing the name of the Rush song, YYZ. They say it YYZ up there. Why would they do that? It's just...
So they're Canadian.
That joke
funny
landed.
because
That was well done.
It's funny because Rush is a Canadian band, so we're all pronouncing it wrong. But now it's even funnier because I explained the joke.
Okay. Now I'm back on board. Because you're right. The second that you start like really digging into that explanation and having to really like just sit with it and explain it again and again, the deeper that down that well you go, the funnier it gets. So
and then the ancillary jokes, like branching off from explaining it into explaining why explaining is funny.
Right.
It's
meta.
just
It's meta.
It's how we do
content.
Things.
That's content,
dude. It's just like the layer. It's like an onion of onions.
Do we listen? I got a question from Ginny, who's in the comments this morning via message on Facebook, which is a weird way to send a question for a video feed. But hey, Greg, I would love for you guys to discuss today how the Wax account and the Minecraft accounts get connected, especially after the Railplot sale. You guys want to jump on that?
Magic.
So much. Yeah, it's whiz-bangery. So basically, but on the non-whizbangery side, and this part is actually mostly done, which is cool. So when it's ready, you will go to the uplift.world. You will log in with your Wax wallet, right? So now we know what your Wax account is, so we know where to send stuff, right? And we know what to look at to see, which land or rail NFTs you own. So you log in with your Wax wallet, and then you will be asked to register your Minecraft account. So after you register your Minecraft account, that actually attaches in our database, so that everything that happens in the game to that Minecraft account or around that Minecraft account will get updated to what's going on the website, and will get updated to rewards that need to go out or whatever. One of the really cool things that's going on, I think we might actually be ready by the time you can even log in with your Wax account to do the basic land management, which is clutch for me because I've been doing it, and it's for the community cluster, and it takes a lot of time, so that'll be good. So you'll be able to log in. It's going to see that you own a rail plot or a land plot on the blockchain. And then you're going to be able to, and it, obviously, once you attach your Minecraft user account, it will automatically make you the owner of it in the game, right? So it's like the outside stuff, looks into and reads to the Minecraft server basically, and maps that area to your Minecraft account as the owner. And then before too long you'll be able to whitelist and add people to come and visit and build on your land and stuff like that. So hopefully that's like a decent enough basic understanding. If you have any questions about how any of that works, I'd be happy to attempt to answer it.
It was a really good explanation. I'd like to add one thing because so for some of the Minecraft people that have been joining us, they might not know that much about blockchain. We could let Michael answer it, but he's so high level that no one's going to understand him. So I'll just do it. Correct me if I'm wrong here, Michael. But the thing with blockchain is you have a wallet, but like what's in your wallet isn't actually in your wallet, right? Like the NFT that is in your wallet, or the EOS that is in your wallet, or the Wax that is in your wallet, it's not actually in your wallet. It's always on the blockchain, right? Your wallet's just the way to access that information, right? So when you do things like tying what Corey's talking about to the game, basically it's really easy once all of the information is plugged in to just be able to like constantly run the feeds and track it and track it and track it. It's always there. It's always visible. It can always be seen. Like there's really all you have to do essentially is plug it in, and it's perpetual light, perpetual motion, right? Is that about right, Michael?
Yeah, give or take. I mean, the way I kind of describe it is think about like your banking app versus your bank account. I mean, your wallet is, I go to my website, I have the app on my phone, I use my credit card that taps into it, but it's all kind of centralized, and you say, hey, the bank says this is where all these different pieces are coming in, and keep track of it. Yeah. And then obviously, the blockchain aspect, account side says, no, you don't have to trust the bank to do that. It's all immutably on chain, and it decentralizes that centralized bank aspect.
That was I really wanted to listen to what Michael just had to say, but Corey opened up the lava pit there, and a villager came out.
There was a trapped villager.
There's a trapped villager
away, or did he die?
He kind of went over the side, so I guess he wanted to cool off in the snow.
All right,
yeah, he went over the high side there on the left. That was
there's that we've never that was a thing that just happened. Yeah, so there's a pressure plate up by the volcano that if you stand on it, it gets rid of the lava, and you can walk down here and see stuff. Okay, freaking cat.
And there's a cat in there.
Hello, kitty. That looks dangerous. What's that all about?
I don't know. You should jump in it, though.
I should for sure. Yeah. Oh, water. Good. That's good.
Well, at least they saved you.
But it's a murder hole.
Oh, wow. Look at this.
Whoa.
I think you found hell.
I've never
Oh, this
been
is the
here.
nether. Wait. Yeah, this
isn't even the nether.
No, it's not either. What's going
What?
Oh! Freaking Russell.
Fucking Russ,
This
man.
is Russ. Yeah. Holy smokes.
He brought his whole building underground.
Impressive.
I feel like a slacker when I walk around in the stuff Russ built.
You can put whatever you want to put into these into some of the boxes, and it automatically sorts them. Mike.
It's an item sorter. Yeah, and we're all going to need those later.
This is mental.
Yeah, and I asked
you
Russ,
can do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I asked Russ if he could build me one of these, and he wasn't even sure. He said he could build one. I'm like, I'm thinking maybe Russ was
Looking like you did. Freaking cats.
sandbagging me.
I think server wise, we might have to ban cats from the server.
What?
Yeah,
I was
dude,
I was riding with Lisa yesterday. We went over to Blockchain Heroes.
It's like 4 or 5 cats or 1 player. I'll murder every cat in the game.
Yeah, so I do have like I get it, like I kind of get that, but like at the same time, like what I don't understand, like what's the difference between cats and chickens? What's the difference between cats and
they
ones and zeros?
They propagate. Yeah, it's a matter of like we've been told now that there are some. That's a fence you can't even jump over.
Nice.
So we do have like per area server constraints, which is why we're sort of going decentralized and fixing all that stuff up, right? This is so awesome. Ross is a beast.
How often has he been down here working on this?
Dude, I don't know. Like he just came underground and just started, because remember he had that big building with the clock on it, and that went away.
Okay, this is a villager, like a trading village. Look, he's made all these villagers
underground.
Yeah.
How come everybody has villagers but me? I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, I don't have any villagers either.
What the hell?
This is beautiful, man. Oh, they're making a big map.
Jesus.
Yep.
Wow.
Sorry about my game sounds there.
How dare you?
Yeah.
And I apologize. Hopefully you don't hear that
Okay.
old music in the background.
No, you're good.
9 colors ahead of me.
Yeah, you're gonna have a
sorry to
rebellion
derail
on
the
your
car.
hands.
This is incredible. A rebellion about what?
About cats.
Oh, yeah, cool. You guys, if you guys want to pay $12,000 a year for a special cat server, we'll buy it. How about that? I mean, watch. Greg's like,
this is not a fight you want to get into, because I mean,
oh no. Like honestly, again, like if it's a cost constraint and I can bring players in instead of cats, I'm gonna pick players, and I'm gonna do that with everything.
I concur. I support that.
I'm okay if you get rid of chickens though. I'm gonna be pissed.
Yeah, well, obviously we can't get rid of chickens because chicken caw. I mean, come on, there's rules. But yeah, no, I like it really is going to come down to server resources over map, over cost, and if and when we have to decide about one particular element versus more players, when there's 18 trillion things you can do in Minecraft and somebody's going to get upset over one detail, I will walk right through that problem and I won't even notice it. Because it's there's so many other, like, basic cats don't unleash any creativity with people, right? Not really. I mean, maybe a little bit, but like that's one of a trillion things. And because
they're automatically generated in the game, though, right?
I know.
You can't
we
get
can
rid of them.
We could stop that.
Oh, okay. That's a bad idea.
Well,
I mean, I don't think you want to use the show for me to argue in favor of cats here, because they are useful in the game. There's a reason that they're in the game.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm just
it's just gonna
Minecraft, but I'm just thinking like the butterfly effect, Corey. This could be really bad, man.
No, it won't be. The thing is, like, we're finding out that there are a very small number of elements in the game that are extremely resource heavy, right? And so I'm looking at, okay, what's the gestalt experience of the vast majority of people, and if we can bring more humans in with their munchkins, based on like a hundreds, if not maybe up to 1,000 people in a server, if we keep them constrained to a smaller area, and the one thing that's causing a problem is like lava in creative mode or cats in creative mode, then those are choices that we'll make. Now we could end up finding out that it's not a big deal and it doesn't matter. I'm just saying, like, if it comes down to choices of particular game elements versus people who can come in and build at like with everything, it's not a choice. It's not even remotely a choice. In my humble opinion.
I think it might depend on who you would lose.
I mean, how many people are gonna? Yeah, Greg, tell me who's leaving. Tell me who's
5
leaving
in the comments so far.
Okay, you're gonna leave the uplift for cats. Write this down. In 2 months, when you watch land values go through the roof, have fun with that.
Okay,
right? I mean, that's like, again,
right.
and again, we might find out that the cost constraint isn't that much of a big deal. But like, I hope you understand the equation that I'm making. And it's still,
I totally do.
Okay,
but there's a human equation that's not mathematical that you need to think
about.
No,
that's actually not true, because like if we can fit 20 more people onto a server or cats and cats are like 0.001% of the fun that everyone is having as a gestalt. That's an easy equation, and it is an equation. It's very simple. Now, granted, those numbers could be off. We're going to find out, right? And yay, like if we can keep cats, that's great. Man, you guys, we're like digging into the weeds now. Like this is
you're like,
this is what I deal with.
Do you want a shovel, buddy? Because
yeah, no, and I'll say like I'm not scared of this conversation because it really is like for me, so everyone knows, hundreds, if not thousands, of people per server per world that are able to get in there and have like 99.9% of the experience that we've all had. I'm gonna fight tooth and nail for that.
Don is making a very good point. And it is that name tagged cats will be fine.
Oh, that's interesting because they don't propagate.
There you go.
See, boom.
But what propagates cats, though, like cats are part of the whole mechanic between iron golems and villagers. Where there's a village and there's iron golems, there will be cats. So it's an in-game mechanic. So I'm not sure.
Okay. Well, I'm again like this was just, I was using cats as an example.
Yeah,
and mostly because like if you've been to Blockchain,
they also
Hero,
cats scare off your favorite hostile mob, creepers. If you have cats, you won't have creepers.
You know the easy way to do that is to just never have creepers ever again.
Well, that's just
I know. You'd like literally mutiny.
Team hostile mob.
That'd be like Woz like blowing up the Apple building.
I did when the first time he ever mentioned never having hostile mobs in the game. I was like, okay, I'm out.
Dude, he turned into an 11-year-old with fucking distance cats. He was mad, like super mad. It was incredible. Anyway, that was a terrible analogy, by the way. That like just ignore that I said that because that's dumb. Anyway, all of these things will be interesting.
I did put the
learn too. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I did put the chicken caw coordinates up further in the thread.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna grab that. We got into this ridiculous cat conversation.
I think you started this ridiculous.
I did.
We should kill all the cats. That's not going to be controversial.
But yeah, you thought Lisa Chandler was mad about the whole accidental slavery sort of thing. Wait till we murder every cat.
Oh, she gets so mad at me when I tell her that.
Yeah, I know.
This is amazing. I had no idea you'd done all this.
We just talk about the fact that Russ is hanging like a suspended demigod in his giant cave. Like you do.
He is. That's beautiful, man.
So this is my oh, he's here. Hello. We are spying on you.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, if push comes to shove and you're really upset about losing the cat, just get a cat skin.
Man.
Well, I mean, maybe we can talk about that when we get into that sharding aspect. Is that you want cats or a cat farm? I mean, we can make that happen. It just takes a little bit more.
And really, yeah, and I think that's going to make the sort of, and Donna, I think, kind of nailed it, right? I think, while I'm ready to be brutal with those equations, if it shows, right, and it's important to understand, like, if it's for real 20 players or a cat, right? And we don't know that that's anywhere near the truth. Then that's the choice I'm willing to make. But like finding the balance is a lot more fun, right? Like the real balance is maximum possible player things, especially with everybody using creative. That's going to be a super resource hog. But combined with the number of people, and we might find out that the economics are so good in these servers because the art drops and the secondary market sales, like we might be so flush that it never matters, right? And it's just every time we add 1,000 players, we just shard automatically and it all just kind of works out. For me, I'm obsessed with getting new players into the game right now. And I just want to do whatever it takes to get that done.
Yeah. So
apparently, including Catricide.
So actually on that note, I think this would be maybe a good place to plug the update. So essentially what we're doing is we're reworking everything. And if you're a part of the Telegram channel, because some people have been asking this question, right now, even for the builders and the teams, people aren't being whitelisted. And so the reason for that is basically just to give the team on the back end a little bit of time to do what they need to do to get us to the next level where we can open it up completely fully again, right? So just keep that in mind, right? Like we kind of pushed the limits of what was possible, and we figured out how to fix it. Oh, and that's what's being done right now. And Corey's driving night and day to, get this done quickly and fast. And people are working really hard to get it done quickly and fast. So there was a really good, comment today that was like, in crypto, right? People people are used to waiting forever. I mean, Corey, we've been waiting for Ethereum 2.0.
It's coming in 2 years. I heard that announcement 6 years ago. It's coming in 2 years. It's going to come in 2 years. They just literally announced it like a couple months ago. Man, Ethereum 2.0 is going to be so awesome. It's coming out in 2 years. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyway.
This is a normal thing, but I think people are going to be surprised. Like there's a lot going on, like in the back rooms. Like I can't always even keep up, which I mentioned yesterday. Somebody was asking me a question in Telegram, and I'm like, I gotta call somebody else in because I don't know. That's not something that I'm following right now because there's just too many other things to follow. So, thank you for your patience, everyone. But it's turning out to be better, I think, in a way than we thought it might have been.
Nice shot.
Thanks.
Yeah, fear the chicken.
Fear the giant chicken.
I like Lisa's comment. Let's guess what percentage of visitors in 2022 will be 1, developers with others building, 2, builders, 3, Minecraft tourists, or 4, Discord viewers.
Well, there's or 5 people who play Minecraft.
Yeah. There's probably tons more. I was thinking that as well. Like that's pretty decent.
I think some of those fall into those different categories, though. I mean, some of those are builders, some of those are players, some of those, they still have their respective. What do they do?
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, so again, what sells me on this is like, it's the same thing with Wax, right? So William Quigley put out a tweet last week, maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It's crypto time and space. It's just nuts. But anyway, 2 or 3 days ago, that was Walmart and Target now are selling NFTs in their brick and mortar shops. Like that's kind of nuts if you think about it, right? Like usually when you buy something in a store, you get points on a card or a coupon that comes. But right now you can actually go and you can buy these digital collectibles, these NFT digital collectibles in the store, right? Like you would like a passcode to download a video game, right? And I mean, so that's like a pretty big step towards maybe Wax isn't going anywhere anytime soon. And then you add
somewhere, but it's probably up.
Yeah. And then you add to that, that's what I like about this Minecraft world is we're building. So, a lot of people are saying especially there's been things like this before, right? There's been even before blockchain, even beyond blockchain, it's been you're going to buy this land in a virtual reality place, and then people are going to come and build on it, and you're going to get paid huge. You're going to make big bucks, But the thing is, you got to get people to come in there and build on it, right? So it's kind of like this weird speculative, we don't have a product in 2017 ICO era, but we're going to build one, and they never got built, or people lost interest, or the bear market came, right? The thing with Minecraft is there are already there are more than 130 million monthly active users in Minecraft, right? That are going to go in there and build cool shit like this because that's what they like to do. Most of them probably don't even pay attention to cryptocurrency. Now you tell those 130 million Minecraft users, monthly Minecraft users, that you can actually go in and you can get paid for walking around and building stuff and traveling around the world and exploring things. And then you can take that Wax and you can reinvest it into the ecosystem, or you can get a Spider-Man or Iron Man Topps collectible NFT card, right? This is a game changer. This is no longer, in my opinion, crypto built for crypto people trying to sell the world on how awesome it is when you bank yourself. It's like an actual real use case. Like Wax in itself, in my opinion, is probably one of the strongest use cases for any crypto anywhere, right? Like, I don't know, but that's kind of like my feeling, right? Like, I think that this is what crypto should be. It shouldn't be about, different chains trying to say we're number one and we're going to take over the world. Just give us 2 years so we can build something out. It should be. We should be at that state now in this world, and that's kind of what, like, I feel like this could be like a game changer, right? Like we shouldn't be cheering on any blockchain to build the next Fortnite. We should be cheering on the blockchain that figures out how to monetize Fortnite with crypto, or monetize Minecraft with crypto, which I know someone who has kind of figured out how to monetize Minecraft with crypto. I think those guys are pretty cool.
Well, I mean, my biggest thing is that, Wax and NFTs and the framework, and even, I know this may get beyond what y'all even comprehend from the nerd side, but, the built-in marketplaces and, of course, just tokenomics in general. That's huge as we talk about, or at least internally, we always talked about, imagine if your game allowed you to sell your item and take that currency out into other games. Fine, you like this game, sell this, buy that. It's all one big happy world. Secondly, what if you're able to use this card or asset in this other game? And we're looking at some of the options on that. And of course, Minecraft is such a, I don't know, kind of standard framework of world immersion. It's blocks, but that's its thing. It's not like it's designed to be. Hell, look at the rendering of it. Oh no, we'll make it square and pixelated, but it's gonna have God's gift to rendering. So
and like, reinventing the wheel seems crazy.
Correct.
If you could, this game has economy built into, it's in the bones of it, like from 10, 12 years ago.
Correct.
And that's gotten more robust over time. When
and we'll continue
when Lisa categorized number 2 builders, well, there's builders, there's miners, there's farmers, there's there's like a whole lot of different kinds of gameplay in Minecraft, and I can farm for months and then get bored with it and then go mining for months.
That's what I was going to say. Game economics I was explaining maybe to Clay or whatever, that look, there's going to be miners, there's going to be runners that are running it, from the mining location to a wholesale distributor, and then they're going to be dumping it into a marketplace where everybody's coming to it, and eventually it's going to get marked up all the way so people get paid.
Right.
And it was just like mind blown. It was like, it's the real world. We're still all people in economics.
Right.
It just happens to be in a virtual world, so I'm excited.
So Corey, I can get you to the did he go AFK? Where'd he go?
No, I think he just maybe.
Okay, well, he was asking where the murder pit was, and I like we've kind of made a decision so far not to show people what we're doing over here, because we want to wait until the reward pool is engaged and people will actually make a little wax for walking around over here, right? There's a lot going on over here, and we got more coming. We've built some secret games. There's going to be an art treasures of the Maya hunt. So Corey, if you want, turn to your right. And there's in the distance, you can see a fire burning. Walk towards that fire.
For the record, we've got a little, hopefully an Easter egg hunt type of thing on our lands that I refuse to show anybody.
That's some really fast walking there, Corey.
Yeah, go down the side. There you go. And there's a door on the front of that little building. There you go. And it's a pretty convoluted path. So down and take a left. There you go.
Jump.
So all of this is so cool. Virginia Zestra did all of this down here. Those are figures holding up the pyramid that are being excavated out of the wall. That's what Corey was focused on there for a second. So that one's been dug out. There's another one that's partially dug out. You can see it's a kneeling figure.
Oh, I got you. He's holding it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a golem. Isn't that what that's called?
Yeah. I don't know what the Maya would have called it, but yeah. So there's another one that's being excavated. It's still in the water. So it's like an archaeological dig in progress. I really love her sense of imagination in this. Is so cool, man. And there's a lot more coming. So when we placed the pyramid, all this was sealed off underneath. So this is like ground that represents like a forgotten site. And Ginny did a lot of reading about the pyramid of Palenque is built on 3 other pyramids, like they found when they dug under it, older temples. And so this kind of represents the reality of course it's Minecraft. It's not, and theirs doesn't have a giant chicken on it, by the way. So Corey, you're muted.
Good things to say. Shit. Hey, I just wanted to point out, like, I was actually screaming about how cool that stuff was back there, and is, frankly, like, Ginny's an effing genius. It's so good. I took a bunch of screenshots. I just wanted to say, like, you know what? In all of this super genius, like, look at this nonsense. This is amazing.
So those are warriors who are carrying sacrifices to the gods, right? These are warriors with their swords. Ginny did all of this.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I do have to point one thing out. This is one of the more amazing things I've ever seen in the game. You know what I've noticed in this room, Greg? Not a single fucking cat. Carry on. Just kidding.
Because there's no villagers.
Cats will be fine. Everything will be fine. It was a joke, and it was really funny. I just want to throw that out there. Oh, and that's the top of the pyramid. God, where's that funny? Fair enough. No, it is true that I am not as funny as I think I am. You know what this place really needs?
Creepers.
Sea lanterns.
No.
Oh
I'm
my
not.
God.
No. I'm not going to touch this place.
Who was it that peppered the Crown Land with sea lanterns? We were.
I don't know what you're talking about.
See, I can't imagine you might have done that. Yeah, Corey, go to the back of the room. Go straight forward past the little mini pyramid, because these are warriors, okay? But in the back, there are just people carrying gifts. There's gold ore. There's nether ore. There's diamond ore. So those are gifts for the gods. And I love that she did the noses that look like the villager noses on these.
Oh yeah, that's
Emeralds, iron. Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely inspired work in here, man.
Danny. This is so good. Oh, and it goes this way too.
Yeah, so they kind of circle around and join the procession of warriors.
I mean,
she says it's 20% done. I don't know what else you could possibly do in here, but
like,
okay.
But,
so
yeah, I
up
mean,
at the top, you
this
need to go up to the. It's better if you walk up the stairs rather than fly up.
I figured. Sorry.
Yeah, she's got more to do in here. It's pretty crazy. All right, so murder pit. I don't know if the switch works yet or not.
Okay, hold on here.
No. So you just got to jump in voluntarily.
So, like, you could like stand here, and then somebody could hit that lever.
Yes.
And then like, ah!
Don't they have a term for that? What was that? They fought over that here in the States. What's that term for self-euthanasia?
Suicide?
Yeah,
I guess that's a technical term for it. But no, you're right to make that decision.
Doink.
Oh, and there's a chicken. How do we get a chicken down here? So there's a convoluted way out through the mine, but you can get really, really lost. And I actually like that you can get really, really lost in here. I think that's
feature, not a bug.
Yeah. So there you go. Ginny made a murder pit.
What the hell?
Yeah, I think you could probably die down there.
But I think there's glass underneath it.
Oh, is there? Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, there's gonna be a lot of ways to die.
Yeah. So that's the rest of the mine that connects back to the surface through a whole bunch of weird passages and.
Can you give me the TP for your new transpo hub? I want to check that out.
Let me get over there. In fact, I'll just get there and I'll TP you to me.
I like it a lot. I do. Please
So while we're having this conversation, the transport center it's freaking huge, and that was intentional because we're going to put a lot of cool stuff in it. And one of the things that I was talking to Donna Laugh Track about this morning is. In fact, I'm going to land on the roadway here and TP you too. So,
am I right that the lamps should always be on the left-hand side when you're trying to get back?
I don't know how she laid it out.
We're going to find out.
Very rainy here in the rainforest. I don't know what that's all about, but
and I got about 10 minutes before I got to jump off and hop on another call.
Whoa.
Okay, so this is the main east-west road. This is the main east-west road that runs from the cathedral out. You turn south from this to go to the Old Lightning. Just hit the road. Look.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. So yes.
Okay, before I forget, I just want to kind of give people, because a lot of people have purchased RailPlot entities, right? See this little thing right there.
Yeah.
And then all this stuff, we're gonna obviously cut the rail in so that it actually works, because it's not gonna work like this. We have work left to do. To this one is one RailPlot.
Yep.
Right, and that includes a little space along the side, not very much. So you can like build off ramps, on ramps, all that kind of thing. But it includes again, from that post to that post way over there, basically everything on this screen, up all the way to the top of the sky and down to the bottom of the base rock.
Bedrock,
right? So,
yeah.
Like it's a decent little chunk where you're going to be able to do all sorts of interesting things. Now that being said, okay, Greg, continue the tour of this. What Jesus?
Yeah, so it's I believe it's 150 or 175 on each side, and I intended for the circle on the top to be bigger, and there's more to that in just a minute. But inside, basically, if you fly on in, Corey, as you come into this, you can see that there's 2 levels 4 times, so there's like 4 platform levels, and the train when it comes in, it'll cross the north-south line right here. I just haven't laid those rail sections because I'm chicken shit. And I'm afraid I'm going to mess everything up. So I'm waiting for somebody to come in that knows how to do that better than I do, to lay the rail sections that run north-south through the building.
Oh, yeah, that's going to become I think, and we've got a couple of people that we're training up to do that, especially considering we have to do a whole new map for the cluster.
Right.
We're going to have about 3,500 rail plots to put in really quickly.
Right.
So
see, this is why Corey is addicted to sea lanterns, because it's way brighter than that on my screen, looking at the same thing. But essentially, I made a little nature stand in here with a jungle tree and some bamboo and stuff. But what I was talking to Don about this morning is take one of these platforms, okay, and imagine little 8 by 8 or 8 by 10 or 10 by 10 shops. So I told Donna she needs to start a mineral and gem shop right now. Put it in here with chests that have, if you want an emerald, it's 10 wax. If you want a diamond, it's 1 wax. If you want a stack of iron, it's 5 wax.
Here's something. Okay, here's something.
Because wait, let me finish the thought. Yeah. Because when we go out of creative mode, right, you need emeralds to trade with villagers to make those trades more valuable. You got to get emeralds somewhere, and they're much rarer than diamonds in the game, right? People might want.
I know there's a lot of them.
Well, I'm just saying, some people aren't going to want to mine. They're going to want to make 800 hoppers to do an item sorting system, like you saw in Russell's Cave, right? And actually mining enough iron to make that thing is a massive undertaking, right? So I'm saying right away, I'm waiting for Sue to open a wool shop in here where you can buy every colored kind of wool immediately, right?
So, Greg,
yes.
I'm sorry. Finish your thought. I just I'm having this like note. I'm an idiot revelation, and I'll just.
Wow, I always want to stop and
I know you love those, and you do tend to be around for like all of them that happen. So that's a thing that happens.
So, but essentially, this is going to be a shopping and information center about Chicken Ka. So the whole region can do its business in here, right? People that arrive here there will be a tourist information center, like a big map on the wall for how you get over to the Maya Quarter. We immediately want people to buy sub land plots from us, and I know it's a giant column of sea lanterns.
It's two of them.
I just haven't put the plaque in your honor on it yet, but there's going to be one.
Okay, I appreciate that's what I appreciate about yous.
So unless somebody said, "Oh, it looks like a parking garage," and I got all depressed, it's because I haven't put anything in it yet, right? But this is going to be the central hub for Chicken Ka, and the Maya Quarter, where the pyramid is, only one part of it. There's a much bigger area, so we're going to develop like a beach city and an industrial and rural area, and we really want people to be able to buy from us, small plots, not big ones, 25 by 25, 50 by 50, to have a house in the Maya Quarter, and we're going to populate it with villagers. Right? Ginny already designed a complete Maya village where there's a butcher, there's a fisherman, there's all the different trades that are represented. So they'll be walking around the Maya Quarter city with you, and you can trade with them when you meet them on the street. So we're going to populate it with NPCs, and then build out a bunch of other amazing stuff around it.
Okay.
Yes, Corey.
So, other than Anders, I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of people in the cluster are super stuck on keeping creative. And again, because of constraints, I think because the Ender setup thread, like the easiest way to handle per server overload is to make it all survival mode, and I think there's a possibility it might be right there. There's also we might have to constrain machines in some cases. Like we're gonna have to look at all that stuff and see what everything can handle and what the volume's gonna be. Blah 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 blah. So, are you saying, as mayor of Chickacaw, which you are, right?
That's people have been calling me that. I have not been elected.
Let's roll with it. Like when we do the DAO, like because I don't.
Did you hear it?
Oh, I love that. So, are you saying that Chickacaw, the district of Chickacaw, will be survival?
We haven't made it a unified decision on that. We haven't taken any kind of a vote on that.
It's like
will it be mob enabled? I doubt it. But survival mode is a different thing. Survival mode is about resource gathering or making, right? So that's a different thing. You can have a survival mode with a survival world without mobs enabled. I absolutely think there should be the ability to switch on mobs on your plot, right? And have them, because there are things you can only get in the game if you have mobs enabled. There in a survival world, there is no other way to get gunpowder. There's no other way to get string. There's no other way to get.
I gotta. Okay, yeah, mobs, great. Yeah, everybody loves mobs, except for you do. Great. What I was headed at, and we can definitely talk. Sorry, I gotta take a bunch of screenshots of this because it's glorious. If
it's also not done yet because there's gonna be a dome on top of that.
There's gonna be tons of stuff. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's the thing. Like, I actually love because imagine all the pictures we first took of Boyd and what it looked like now.
Right,
completely different.
And one fun fact I'm about to have to drop. I support going back to survival mode, but having opportunities to new projects and stuff like that. All right, make some agreements. Hey, you're not going to go dump all your emeralds or whatever on the open market.
Yeah, I think what's going to end up happening, Mike, I'll tell you this right now, is we're going to have districts that have creative enabled, and we're going to have districts that have survival enabled, and you won't be able to move things between them. And it's I think that might end up being a hard limit because
I'm totally down with that. That's
and again, we're working this out, but it seems like that would at least initially would be the easiest solution. Now, if we had some special case where, for example, if Chickacaw goes survival and some theme park wants to come in and build something really, really quickly, and they as a community decide, okay, well, it's worth it for us to do this. We'll make sure they're not building all their rides out of diamonds, blah 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 blah. Then we can sort of make that shit work. But then this is why I'm sort of fascinated with this, Greg. I've been imagining the cluster because of all the communities and all the builds and all the crazy shit that's going on already, right? I've been imagining that as the obvious go-to for where people are going to want to pick land. But if the only place to find true survival is Chickacaw, that's a totally different ballgame now.
Well, you recruit a different set of players or whatnot. So
right. Well, and it really that experience, when we map the in-game economy onto this place, it will not be in the cluster at all. It'll be in Chickacaw because we can't do it where anyone has creative.
Well, I guess and what I would love to see, of course, not my call or whatever, but I guess my vote before I drop is that flip the community, plots, because assume it's all kind of together. The community plots go back to survival mode, and it's kind of the normal gameplay, maybe no mobs or whatever, but you can't just rip all the resources and let her go. We had talked about, even a donation fund from some of the teams of materials that then special projects that, work a partnership out or something can purchase the resources at a much lower rate than just having to rape the open market off of it, and contribute back to the reward pool, stuff like that. And then, okay, fine. You really want to build a roller coaster and you can't just demolish the entire rainforest of somebody's plot. Okay, you can pay for that with, okay, we'll turn on creative mode for a week or two. Certain restrictions of, we will come and take your stuff if we catch you, smuggling your emeralds out or something.
Yeah, you won't be able to. It'll be a hard limit. Well, and that's the thing. This is why I think it's easier, at least in the beginning, to just separate out worlds like that. But we'll talk about that more because I think that like a mixed use case, like a mixed economy.
Well, it's a very valid concept. I mean, I can tell you, it's like every time I walk in now, Greg, you'll appreciate it. I'm like, oh, Greg's not gonna like you.
Well, look, I like the creative tools and I love the palette, and I'm using it liberally on the what you just saw built. Right, but the minute it goes away, I'm going to be a happy Minecrafter because I know how to play the game. And frankly, Corey, if I have to use an example, the Tiamo build, which the determination was to do that in resource gathering mode, right? That you guys are the Burning Man is maybe a better example. We had to go and gather up all the stuff to build the Burning Man, right? And so everybody cooperated and got that done. Okay, and it raised a lot of money. Why? Because it was a cooperative build, and people got paid. People got paid for their help on that project. People got paid real world money for their help on that project. That was a survival mode project, not a creative mode project.
Yeah, but I mean, you could do the same concept and say, all right, instead of wasting all that time and money and effort on resources, when all you really want is the big, grandeur, is go ahead, get that knocked out, and then go back to, whatever is.
Yep.
I mean, there's two different mentalities. Is that I think, once you get outside of the Minecraft elitist, you're back to, all right.
I don't feel like an elitist though. Like Lisa's in the comments saying Crownlandia builders definitely need creative mode to realize the goal. No, they don't. No, they don't. We can gather and make everything it requires to build a house, and you're going to feel better about having built it.
You're going to say the cost of everything is now double fold because you've got to spend the time, you spend the money to gather the resources, and then spend the money to build with those.
But wait, the reward pool is not just about traveling, isn't there, Corey? When you mine, when you farm, isn't there a little bit of a reward benefit for that, or isn't that the plan?
Not yet, but that's absolutely on the roadmap.
I agree. There's an option behind it, and again, that's a tool that a project can use. But to limit all people coming in to say, nope, you're going to have to hire a mob of diggers or pay, astronomical whatever off of the markets, that's going to be somewhat detrimental. If you can at least put them in their own little bucket world and say, nope, you're off limits.
Right.
But if you want to build a starship pad out of diamonds,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting. There's been a lot of we'll see it. Mike, thanks for coming on, man.
I got dropped. Always.
Thank you, Mike.
Look forward to
it. We'll talk in a second. I just want to say, there's a lot of debate about this, which I find deeply fascinating. It's probably going to come up at Dackathon, I don't know, every 5 minutes or something, which is going to be fun. And again, like in the initial parts of it, we want to basically make the best possible fit that the community wants to see possible with everybody's competing desires and motivations taken care of as much as we possibly can. And then, I mean, this really will be the first thing that we offload Minecraft politics, the uplift politics. Minecraft is just the base layer. Just for the record, we're not going to be stuck on Minecraft forever. Although it'll probably be for a while because it's awesome. So yeah, I mean, you see how back and forth that get. And what one thing we didn't touch on is the fact that there's some core crypto blockchain type people that were really upset that like, oh, you guys all get creative, but then everybody who comes after doesn't get creative, and they were like super butthurt about that. And again, like I'm looking at like, it used to be easy to mine Bitcoin too, and now it's not. So like, early adopters get perks, and that's just the way it is. So, but again, we really do want to try and balance all of that as much as humanly possible. And the simplest way to do that right now, the community cluster gets creative. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, Anders. And Chicken Cow doesn't.
I like the idea of I just been holding my tongue, so I just want to.
Oh, hi, Jimmy.
Oh, hey, Jimmy's here. What the hell?
I like the idea of paying for creative mode and having it go back into the rewards pool. Number one. Number two, I do understand about people maybe dumping resources on the market, and that's not good. I mean, even if it's wood or something, right? I mean, if there's, like you said, there's people who are miners, they're going to want to go and collect and then sell that on the open market as well. But another suggestion that I would have is like with the game being divided the way that it's being divided now, you could also potentially almost have like proof of authenticity. Now, I'm going to potentially take a lot of people off here, but Andrews might actually be my friend again after this. You could have like proof of authenticity, whereby like if your region was built like entirely in survival mode, or your area was built entirely in survival mode, then maybe the wax rewards that you get and the wax rewards of explorers are increased, right? To balance that out, like there's a lot of like gamification aspects that we could potentially build in. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Probably it might not even be possible depending upon, what areas are grouped together. But like, I think ideas like this, whereby like, you have new people that are coming into the game, if they want to pay for creative mode to build something quickly.
Yeah. Hold on, Jimmy. We should nip that in the bud. So apparently like paying for creative mode in the Minecraft terms of service isn't even allowed. So again, like, and we have to, to every extent that we possibly can with the terms of service, we're going to be doing that. And this is the thing, like, and Andrew's talking about messing all the economics and creative enabled. I'll tell you this right now, where creative is enabled a lot, the economics engine will not be turned on in those districts. So whatever economic stuff you're playing with, you're not going to be able to move those between worlds.
Okay,
we're not going to be able to do it, right?
Okay, Corey. But Donna's point. Even in this community, we're marginalizing grinders, gatherers, and workers. If I can't sell the things that I'm mining,
Craig, I was just literally giving you your argument. So listen to the words coming out of my face hole. Where survival is enabled, the economics will get turned on. Where it's not, it won't be.
But that means I can't sell things to people to build cool shit in the. It
literally means that. It literally means that.
If they have creative mode turned on in their zone,
dude, you can't. Right, you can't sell it to them because they have creative mode. They can just invent it.
Well, see, that's a problem.
Well, here's the thing, like Greg.
Yeah. So I think just before you answer this, Corey, read Andrew's last comment because that clarifies things a little bit too. Like now, I don't want to exist in the community cluster, and that kind of makes sense, right? So. Maybe there's a happy medium where you could have because we're going to have more than one community cluster. So maybe you could have community clusters that are creative and community clusters that aren't. I mean, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I just wanted that to be part of the answer as well.
No, it's just so should we have some areas where, creative is going to be allowed? Because I get yelled at every day that people want that. Should we just say no? Because I'm not prepared to do that. I don't think that makes any sense. But should we allow people to self-organize wherever they want to go? Yeah. That feels good to me. I'm not going to tell people what to do. But the people that want to be part of that survival mode thing can be part of it. That can be a rich experience. And it can prove that it's where everyone wants to be or not. It's iteration and evolution. Right? I'm not going to force people who are really, really excited about creative, especially if they're new in the game and they have a lot of things to do and to try and be creative about, because we all did it. To necessarily stop that. They're just not going to be able to take that, sort of economic largesse and dump it on the markets where everyone is actually playing, like a fair and balanced game.
I'm with you on that. It'd be nice, like maybe it is against the terms of service, but would it be against the terms of service to say, okay, like when you come in to a plot, like you have 1 week or 1 month to be able to use creative mode to do whatever you want to do. Here's the terms, like, you can't build a temple out of diamonds or whatever. And then I
think that's the best solution is sunsetting creative mode, because then you get the best of both things. You get time to come in and build a bunch of really amazing stuff. But the people building that amazing stuff, if they don't recognize how expensive it, how much time they're going to have to spend to build cool stuff later, they'll be in a hurry to get it done. And that's what we've seen, time pressure, because we've been telling people creative is going to go away. And so they've been rushing around to get things done. Yeah. Right. And they're going to have, and what you've built is a place that I'm going to want to travel to and go see. Right. That I'm excited to go see the cool stuff that you built. Like Sue did. Look at this. I mean, that's an amazing sculpture. That's a house. Right. And they're all over the map now. They're like everywhere.
Yeah.
And some of them were done with creative, but some of them were not. Like all the old stuff, all the old museum, the Colonial Williamsburg Cathedral 1.0, the village and everything around it was built in survival mode. And it's pretty cool and compelling to tour around that stuff.
Don't get me wrong. Like it's just like, I'm conveying to you guys the absolute, like, freaking, like, pissed off, holy shit, are you seriously not going to let me have creative mode that I get 50 times a day from all over the community?
Yeah.
Now, and I'm not, but Greg, like, I'm not saying that, like, it might come to that. Because here's what we do. Like we've got this whole
creative mode or cats.
Greg, let me finish, right? Like, because we've been messaging this a lot, right? And I've only recently said, like, maybe we could have a whole server that's just creative mode. and we're looking into this. We're having this big, huge, long conversation about it, and this is good. We need to have this conversation. But we've been saying, like, you know, chances are by the time we roll out the beta, you've got until then to do creative. Other than that, you're just not going to be able to. So, like, I personally can envision a time when we do that, and it might say it pisses off 5% of the people, so they get, you know, really mad and dump all their Rail on the market. Well, Rail on the market is going for approximately 50% more than when we sold it all out 4 days ago. Have fun, right? If you really hate the game that much because we've made it that much more enriching, okay, you know, right? Like, so, and again, like, I feel personally a desire to make everyone happy. We're not going to make everyone happy.
Right.
And people who don't understand how awesome survival mode is don't get it yet. They just showed up. They're like, oh my God, you mean I have to mine everything? And they're seeing all these amazing builds and they want to express that creativity. And that's where, like, I feel compelled to want to reach out to them and make sure they get that, because that creativity is like, look at it. It's amazing. Right. And it makes all of the value bringing new people in and letting them do whatever the heck they want to do and again, like the sunset thing you were talking about, even for a little bit, and maybe that's something we do, right? And just like disallow any, you know, diamonds or whatever. Like maybe that's a permissions thing that we can do.
Yeah, you could regionalize like the stack of diamonds in the Boyd cluster. That's part of the launch thing they have there.
Well, even like
make that a region that nobody can take those out and put them in the economy.
And Boyd's going to do that anyway, I'm sure. But
right.
Like the what I'm saying is, like, maybe we could set it so that, like, any of the you know, really expensive stuff, you know, just you can't just use it. And because like most of the people in creative aren't building shit out of diamonds, except Boyd, fucking Gary.
No, I said this from the beginning, like even back before any of this issue happened, right? Like I think that experience, especially when you're onboarding new projects, because I think this is going to be a lot bigger than EOS.IO. Like I think eventually you're going to have people from other blockchains in here as well. And like I understand what you mean about like early adopters and stuff like that, and having some benefits, but you know, I think benefits in a way are they're kind of like time based too, right? Like the longer you're here, the more rewards you're going to get, the more time you spend. So I really like the idea of like sunsetting. You know, you join the game, you have a new community plot, you get it for 1 month. If you don't do anything with it for 1 month, that's okay. And actually, when you have it for that first month and you're building stuff, you know, maybe wax rewards are turned off. And you don't get it until you don't get the rewards until creative mode goes away, right? And so if you're a project that comes in and does tons of stuff, maybe you can opt out of creative mode. You can be like Anders and you can be like, okay, you know what? I'm not going to use it because I want the real game experience. And then your wax rewards are turned on from the get-go, right? Like,
yeah,
I think
that's technically a whole issue that we're going to have to look at to see if it's even possible. And maybe it is, right? Yeah. But I'm leaning towards what Anders is saying, because Greg, it's like, I know you're worried about like wanting to sell people stuff in the cluster or whatever, but I mean, you know, I'm not 100% sure that that's going to matter. Like, does that remove some of your, you know, potential market? Sure.
Oh, no, I'm not worried about my market because, I mean, it's just there's two different kinds of economies here, right?
Right, and they would be distinct and separate. It's kind of the point that Anders is making, that I think we should at least let it sit in our brains and contemplate for a bit, because it might be the thing that is the simplest thing that we roll out the soonest, that works, so that every kind of player type, from, you know, Nichiren, who's like building a business, right, building a gallery for NFTs, you know, it's like the Minecraft game experience is basically irrelevant to them, right? And for now, right, like I can totally see them like joining the survival, buying land near Chicken Cost specifically to have that experience, to have that location, and have the you know what I mean, like that. So it ends up that, you know, Laugh Track can mine and make money mining, which is hilarious. And you know, you know, like people in Chicken Car, whatever modes we have, worlds we have that are set to survival, you know, it becomes a situation where you know they're sort of I almost said the phrase separate but equal, and I was like, do I really want to say that? But you know what I mean, right? Like we want to, like we can allow people to self-organize into the groups that they want to self-organize into, which sort of feels like the right thing to do from sort of a fairness situation.
Well, yeah, there's another aspect of creative mode aside from cool builds is when you're in creative mode, you don't have to eat. You fall off stuff, you don't die. there's no risk in the game, and I do understand why creative mode to build a cool store. I get that, and I know that that's important. It's important for the survival of the whole project. However, there's a gameplay aspect that people that are risking to produce stuff ought to have a market for that and an ability to
right and
sell it somewhere.
Everybody who agrees with that will be in that market with them. Right? We're not going to force people. Like, I don't want to force people who have a whole other idea of what this can be into that market, because that's not what they're here for. Now, what I think, Greg, I think they're going to find out that that's what they're here for eventually, right?
Right.
Because
but how will they learn what they're missing?
Because they're going to show up and come visit, probably, because it's awesome. And Anders is probably never going to shut up about it. I don't know if you've met him, but he's...
I don't know. Why would I pay that guy 10 wax for an emerald? That's stupid. Because I could just go to my little chest when I'm back in the creative zone.
But, like, you can't bring any of that stuff into the economy. This is the thing, Greg. Like not everybody's looking at it the way you are, and they might never do it. And I want to provide something for them as well.
Well, they're as wrong about that as you are about cats, but okay.
That's totally possible. I own that. And dude, like, you can make a show, you and Anders can have a show that's just like, creative mode is fun for wuss faces, right? Like, that's fine.
Well, no, but I do understand, like, when I think about the business district, right? Or the cluster, which is it's like the World's Fair, right? It's the World's Fair. It's like Disney World, but it's Disney World. It's not the real world where everything is magic and cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel I have a real. I love the creative builds. I absolutely adore them.
Yeah.
I guess maybe it's because I've seen people build stuff that cool in survival mode.
Right. It does mean more, and we've brought up the stories where that's a big deal. But again, like there's real, like, so Sue was asking, can an economics platform be built around a world in creative? It's the world in creative economics is built right next door to the real one. Right, people are going to go in, build things like the Tiamo thing, and this is sort of that Tiamo build is an interesting thing, right? Because we built all that stuff in survival as we sort of asked, because like that whole labor of love thing, right? But what Blue really wanted was a statue. I asked for a statue a week in advance. Nobody built anything, so I went in a day and built the thing. I went in a day and built a thing that sold for 200,000 wax.
Right,
that's pretty fucking economic, right? And we raised that 200,000 wax for building schools in Haiti. That's creative mode, right? So like, and again, I'm not saying that won't happen in survival. I think it will, and I think I would be compelled to come and be part of that, right? But I think like having a space where that's just possible to iterate at that speed, and also having, and like, you think that we're talking about like two distinct sort of servers districts. Like, you go to the hub and you can go to either one, right? There's going to be many, right? Like that Stargate hub in the center is going to have all sorts of stuff attached to it. And so like, it's probably not a matter of if some will be creative and some will be survival. It's a matter of like, of course that's going to happen. Yeah. Right? So if a giant brand comes in and says, hey, we want this like banked on, being creative ad nauseum, I'm just going to say yes. Now, are they going to be able to attach to the economy writ large of the whole, metaverse? No. But having them attached to the Stargate, where it's right next door to Chicken Ka, I mean, that, I think that's going to have some impact.
I like this conversation because it's like political people. We're all semi-political. You guys more mainstream political in American politics, and I'm more like, historical overview type stuff, which is why I like watching you. But it's interesting because like, I'm not a Minecrafter, but like I'm totally on the side. Like my only worry is that I think we need to have like Corey. I honestly think that like as much as this is dreaded, I actually think that we need to have a roundtable about this, because I think it would be really. I
think we should. I mean, we're kind of doing it right now, but I think
like more people, and so what I would say is like, just before we do that, right? Here's my thing, right? Like, because I don't know how to eat. Like, I've been in creative mode the whole time, but at the same time, I'm kind of like just trying to build something cool for like a project that like I'm, trying to help, get in the game, and they have a mission that, kind of resonates with the game's mission as well. But at the same time, if I'm thinking about like players who are coming in that, that might not have gotten rail or might not have enough wax to be able to get lands to build on. They're essentially going to come in, they're going to wander around, they're going to get some rewards, but they're going to have to use those rewards potentially to, like, they're going to have to use their time to mine, they're going to have to use their time to eat, they're going to have to, use their time for all of this stuff. Whereas all the people that are, maybe building in creative mode in that world, like, don't have to deal with that. It's kind of like I mean, maybe it's a good thing, but it's kind of like the real world, like 99% versus 1% economy, in a way. I'm just going to throw that out there, right? Like, so I kind of like to, like, but I think this is a really good, like, roundtable discussion. We should have, like, people, obviously Greg and Anders seem to be on one side of it. Corey's kind of on the other, like some other people. Like, I think we should at some point, maybe after the Dakathon, if you're willing and able, Corey, I think it'd be a really cool roundtable discussion for us to have, like, as some of the original community leaders that came into this space. I mean, it might be heated. Our show usually isn't that heated, but I mean,
it's good. I do want to touch on, because this is sort of interesting. So Sue said maybe you can make the rewards in creative a lot less than what you'd make in survival. I'll never do that. However, because, like, like, that base rate for everyone needs to be the same. Otherwise, it creates a lot of issues we don't need. However, you could earn a lot of different kinds of builder class NFTs and survival class NFTs that will give you buffs that you can't earn in the creative world, right? Like, there's ways that we can gamify the experience so that if you really love that, if you want to do that, you can then turn around and be earning things that you can only earn in survival. Like, maybe you could have, like, a kill fucking a mob, NFT reward or something like that, and just call it the Greg. And like, if you get any gunpowder, it's like, hey, this is a Greg. It gives you, like, a 1% buff on rewards anytime you kill a mob. Well, you can only kill a mob where you can kill a mob, right? So, like, again, like, I want it to be equal. Like, it needs to be equal at the beginning. So we don't want to, like, value anything less. But we can gamify the experience more and use that, because, again, like, there's businesses that are coming in to build stuff, as NFT galleries and stuff. And, like, again, that the NFT gallery, think about it this way: the NFT gallery idea is the only reason why, not the only, but the, like, main superpower reason why people are going to want to come and join us in this world, right? It's what made Decentraland, full stop. They were boring as hell. No one cared about them at all. And then suddenly somebody put up a picture of an NFT with a link, and it went bananas, right? So, like, that's a huge part of why this works. It has nothing to do with the game, right? So Minecraft, what we're doing is a game, but it's also a massive metaverse business potential thing, right? So it's both end. But at the same time, like, that can happen and be super fun, and people are earning rewards and, like, getting NFTs that are specific to that area. But if you want to earn these NFTs that show up somewhere else, you're going to have to mine them in survival, because there's going to be no other way to get them, right? So that way we can, like, hopefully sort of thread the needle and do, like, to show that, like, kind of lead people into that, right? Yes, it's a metaverse with a business. You could buy NFTs. Cool. But there's also, like, a game thing that will suck you in, and you can make things that are really cool, and you can find NFTs you can't find anywhere else. And.
I like the idea of making the NFT rewards available exclusively in survival mode. Because some of these folks have made a decision that the economics that they're interested in is happening outside the game, in meat space, right? Where they're selling NFTs outside the game, and that's their benefit. And I just like the idea of the benefits for being in the game, for really being in the game, accrue.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be only, right?
But it should be.
Well, okay, yeah. You very clearly only care about your own priorities.
No,
so, like,
see, that's not even true.
It sounds like it. So, like, it again, like, I'm looking at literally everyone as much as I can, right? Obviously, I'm gonna miss some things, I'm sure, but, like, having the, like, NFT discovery only be in survival, there's I'm open to thinking about it, but right now I'm a hard pass. Well, could it be, like, leading towards that, because there's more gamification things that could provide more of those things, of course. But, like, people are wandering around and they're totally new, and they don't earn any NFTs at all for wandering class when they're wandering around the worlds that are in creative mode. That's just not fair. That's not useful.
We were talking about the buried NFT rewards that you only get by mining.
Well, yeah, but you didn't say it that way. You said any, right? And so like,
okay,
that
sorry.
I'm
my bad.
no, that's okay. No,
But when I
can
think
only
about
do it.
somebody buying a 250 by 250 in the land sale that's coming up
Yeah.
in creative mode, how long is it going to take them to dig out that entire 250 by 250 down to bedrock? And all the resources in it are going to be gone.
Well, this is the thing, but it's in creative, so they don't even need it, right? Like that. Why would you? Like, is Nichiren like mining while trying to make the big mural in the sky? Which, by the way, is super freaking badass.
It really is
right now.
It really is.
They're not because they don't need to. This is why, like, I think the sort of the separation of the two styles is just the thing that will be sort of the easiest lift. Oh, entering the laugh tracks.
I think I'm probably disagreeing on a lot of different.
Oh, hey,
things.
guys, I have a meeting with the business super nerds in 5 minutes, so I got to run. But obviously, this conversation is not going to stop here. We are absolutely open to all ideas. And Jimmy, if you want to book a bunch of people, including, let's get Nichiren on if they're interested, and really like have this conversation. And Anders obviously needs to be there. We'll pick up to 10 people and dial this in.
I think it's going to have to be after the Decathlon, to be honest. But we'll do it.
Should be part of the Decathlon. We should ask Lisa about that.
Yeah, we could do it as part of the Decathlon as well if they're game. But I just want to say too, like, if you're one of the people out there that's bitching to Corey about creative mode, then don't bitch to me about it.
No. I like it's feedback that I need, right?
Fair enough, but I want them to bitch to me about it because I'm kind of on. I might not even be here tomorrow because Corey might ban me from the show. But I'm kind of on the creative. I'm kind of on the creative mode. Like no aside. And here's the reason why. The power that I see behind the Minecraft world is that we're tapping into something that isn't blockchain, and we can bring that to the world, right? Now, if you're pissed off about losing creative mode, write Corey a message, but also send the same freaking message to me, right? Because I want to know. I'm not a Minecrafter, right? Like I'm not one of these people who's been here from the beginning, and I'm using creative mode to build my shit. But at the same time, I'm one of these blockchain cryptocurrency people that is utterly pissed off about the fact that like everyone's not using blockchain and cryptocurrencies at this point in time, and like the potential like for people to be using blockchain and crypto in real life has been squandered, in my very humble, obviously subtle opinion, by crypto people basically creating their own little worlds and trying to school the world on how the rest of the world could be. The majority of the people in the world don't give a shit that banking is centralized. They don't care, right? They want that security. And I think maybe what's happening in gaming and DeFi and things like Decentraland, yeah, you're right. People sold NFTs, but still it's like 1% of 1% of 1% of the crypto population that's in Decentraland, right? Like we're not bringing people in from like Wall Street in Decentraland, right? And I think we have that potential to be able to do that here. I know you really got to go.
No, you guys can stay if you want and talk shit about me behind my back, which is fine.
Actually, I wouldn't mind.
Steel Actress forever. Yeah, no, you totally can. I literally have to go, so I just want to say this. I am grateful for all of you that have the passion to really want to fight for the ways that you see this. There's a reason why Greg's fighting for survival, and it's not because he's a dickhead. It's because he's seen. I mean, I
am a dickhead.
He is a dickhead. Don't that's a separate
issue,
right? Separate but equal. I have to stop saying that.
Really, you do.
Like it's not good.
What if we started townships?
Well, okay, don't stop having ideas for now. But like, we need an ideas thing and a form. People need to let's make that Google form right now. If anybody's listening to this, make the form that says Minecraft or I don't even want to say Minecraft anymore. The uplift ideas, fine. But the reason why he's going after survival is something I understand, but I didn't before, right? But I also completely understand what Nichiren is saying and why, and it's a really economically massive big deal for us all, because I'm a rail owner now, right? It will have a dramatic impact on the value of my rail NFTs and my wife's rail NFTs, and for there to be the possibility of having companies like Nichiren's come in to build things, and even much, much bigger ones. So that I'm pretty unless something really massive changes, we need to make sure that works for them. But at the same time,
finding a way to gamify the path so that you level up if you're in survival in any kind of meaningful ways that we come up with. Maybe that's the path. Let people self-organize, but encourage them to get this game experience that really is richer. Like, you will be more grateful for everything when you're there. And of course, gratitude is supposed to be at the center, and I got to go. I love you guys.
I mean, I'm down for 5 or 10 more minutes, Greg. Like, let's hash this out. Because I think, like, again, you're like the Minecraft guru, and I've been sitting silent because, I talk a lot. Usually I don't. I don't think many people know this, but I'm almost never wrong.
I'm sorry, that wasn't a point where I was supposed to laugh.
No, it's a perfect point for you to laugh. But just think about this for a minute, because I'm 100% serious, right? Like, most people, they just they just say what they think, and we live in a world now where a lot of people confuse their own opinions for facts and truth, right?
Right.
And I believe I believe that the world is all about perspective. I mean, you can play games with perspective, right? Like, what's 2 + 2? I mean, it's a simple question. 2 + 2 is 4. No, it's not. It's 3. 2 plus means to put things together. You have two, you put them together, you got 3.
Right.
But wait a minute, James. What if I have what if I have 2 + 2 and I put them together? Now it's 4. Right? Like, it's all about perspective. And here's the thing: like, most people in today's world, in the social media world that we live in, they have their beliefs and they think what they speak is truth. I'm kind of a philosopher. That's what I studied at school, and I don't like to be wrong. One of my favorite things actually is being wrong, because I learned something. But like, I'm almost never wrong because I don't say something unless I'm almost sure that I can back it up. Right. And so, like, I think this is like a really interesting, point for me to sit here and look at it, because I'm not a Minecrafter person, but at the same time, I can see the value of where both sides are coming from. Right. Even without understanding what this creative mode, Minecraft survival mode debate is, because it's very clear that, like, people who have had creative mode and then have learned how to play the game, like, they're the best, right? So what I want to see happen is something that, like Corey said, like, pleases everyone, right? And so from my perspective, I think the power of this uplift world, and no disrespect to anyone who's in the audience, because most of you are probably, a lot of you are probably in the world building for various reasons, either because you love Minecraft and you were here, from the beginning, or because you see the potential in this idea. But I kind of feel like, personally, that we need more focus in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space on people who aren't in the space. And that's where I think we get huge, right? Like, I think NFT collectibles are great. NFT art is great. But, like, who's paying $1 million for an NFT that's artwork? It's not normal people, right?
Right. It's art collectors.
It's not art collectors either. It's crypto people who think that they can sell it for more. It's all speculation, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, at this point in time, right? Like, things are starting to change.
See,
right?
I see all art collectors through that lens. They're not necessarily people that are knowledgeable about art. They just know that it has value and they want it.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, antiques are the same,
Right.
but like okay, fair enough. Right. It's funny, actually, because I like having you on the show, actually, because I appear to be smart. Usually Corey puts my place on things like this, but when I'm on your Minecraft show, then I'm an idiot, because I don't know even whether I'm digging up or down, because I don't know where to put the seed lantern. Then anyway, but like, here's the thing: there was a point on Twitter today that was talking about EOS, and it said the only people in EOS, the only people in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space that actually believe that technology is important, that actually do it for the tech, are people that believe in EOS. And it's actually kind of true. And I think it's the same with a lot of, cryptocurrency stuff, right? Like the majority of people who are in cryptocurrency right now, they're not the same as like people out there in the real world, right? They don't believe that, banks are bad. They don't believe that, like, I mean, they do, but in a different way, right? From political standpoint, especially if you look at like American politics, you've got two sides, right? You believe you believe that, like, in support for everyone, or you believe in like the free market economy, essentially, right? Like, it's a very gross generalization, right? But like, it's a different kind of belief, right? And it's not the same. And so what I want to see happen in this uplift world is I want to see everyone happy, but at the same time, I want this to be a platform whereby we can, yes, 100% showcase cryptocurrency, but I want to see it as an extension of what most platforms in crypto aren't doing, and that's that they're not onboarding new users. And from my experience, watching you and your friends come in to the uplift and having questions, and now you've got Wax wallets. Now you're starting to get interested in NFTs, right? Like now, like, you're asking questions to Michael USA, like, oh, wait a minute, what? I can get like rewards if I stake my Wax, like, and this is what I see. And I'm a very new addition to this uplift team, right? Like, I'm kind of an addition. A default addition because I do this show with Corey, right. So I think like that's why I'm saying, if you're still watching this and you have an opinion about it, tag me in one of the Telegram channels, send me a DM, and like, I want to know as well, right? Like, I don't know, I'm not a hardcore like Minecraft like survivalist. And I use creative mode and I freaking love it. And I'm the type of guy that's going to think about how to try to game the system. I'm going to be 100% honest with you, right? Like, and there are going to be people out there who do that. Now, I think Corey's got a good idea where we can lock certain areas off. We can, you said you can lock certain things out of the resource economy, but I don't necessarily know if I believe that it's that efficient. So especially if you think
I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I'll hold off on that for a minute.
No, go ahead. I've been talking for a long time.
I think maybe what I want is I want people to understand where a block of blue concrete comes from. Like, I want them to understand that there's a making process for that item in your inventory in the game. That there's like, and it's, some of them are very complex. You need 4 or 5 steps to make a thing, and to see people just shoot those things up like they're pancakes, that tweaks me a little bit as a Minecraft player, that there's value in knowing how to make all those things. Like, I'm watching what you're doing on the Generios plot, right? And, all of the stuff that you've had to innovate to do underwater, because basically 90% of that plot is, down to the base of the ocean, right? But, there are ways in the game, there are tricks in the game to allow you to work on the ocean floor, or you'll die, right? So basically, you take a door, craft a wooden door and put it on the floor of the ocean. And when you open the door, it leaves a pocket, like a phone booth sized pocket of air. So you can make a string of pocket, doors, air pockets along the bottom. And in survival, that's how you have to build things under the water. And if you get it wrong, you will die, And I guess I feel like people are missing out on what the stuff they're building with is value. It's like you literally found a pile of diamonds and built a building out of them. If you didn't know that diamonds had any value in the world, they would just be shiny rocks. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a little bit of a disconnect. And I do think I love the creative builds. I mean, I'm just as gobsmacked as anybody else when I walk around the plots for Blockbase or Boyd or what Anders. But what Anders has done is he's done all that cool, amazing stuff in survival mode, and that, to me, that makes it that much more
survival mode. There are some stations around it, but still.
Okay, but you watch how many times, watch the people that are falling to their death or drowning in lava when you're playing on the server. It's all people that are working on Anders' plot, so they're taking risks to make those things happen. And to me, that's more compelling. And I do have the experience that, like, the Hermitcraft, which is the people that I watch on YouTube, everything they do, and it's astonishingly complex, they do in survival mode with mobs enabled. So I know it can be done. And these are people that are obsessively Minecrafty. And I get that there's a difference in those two communities. But like when I think about the people that are building a presence in the Minecraft world, right, to draw in their users from other games, other platforms, other projects, that's what the creative mode is for. It's billboarding. You know, it's a way of showing off that we're in this other world and we can do these cool things. But that there are people that legitimately play Minecraft that see that as kind of a, you know, why couldn't they do that with all stuff that they mined out of the ground? They could. It would just take them longer. And so I know we're in this time crunch where we're trying to mash down the time cycle to get cool stuff done to attract people to the world. But I think there ought to be a shutoff valve for that. I think at some point, Disney World or not Disney World is how it should go.
Yeah, and so like as a cavet, not a cadaver, a cavet. That's what I was trying to say. I think you were on that stream as well. My one kind of line of thinking, in line with what you're saying, is that I 100% agree. I also think that if this game was something that I had to figure out how to lay, I mean, I did play a little bit before I got creative mode, but if I had to figure out how to lay a door on the ground to do water, you know, I don't have the time for that. I'm way too busy for that, right? Like in my real life. And I think a lot of these projects who are building things, you know, who aren't interested in gaming, we do have a lot of projects in the community cluster that aren't interested in gaming, right? Ken Bozak is, like Anders is. This is kind of what they do. This is kind of their business. But like, look at, you know, Michael USA, EOS USA. You know, he wasn't, but now he is, right? Mm-hmm. So you're gonna get those types of people as well. But like, I think that there is that value. So I'm kind of on the side of that, like having the valve to be able to shut it off, right? Like, and especially like, I think, you know, if you can have that valve to be able to shut it off, and nobody can move any of those resources on that plot to somewhere else, then that makes a much fairer experience for the people for the players who are just coming in. Because I think we're going to have that. I think one of the distinctions between the Uplift and regular Minecraft worlds is that you just really have to cover the cost of the $18 cost to be able to get the Java, right?
Right.
But then once you get in the world, right, like you can wander around and you can get wax rewards. Now, what does getting wax rewards mean? Or mining or selling things in the game mean? Well, in Minecraft, it just means that you can get shit in the game, which is kind of cool if you like Minecraft, right? But in the Uplift world, it means that you can get cool shit in the game that you can sell for wax that might actually get you land, which might actually bring you a passive income at some point in time, right? So there's a real world, for me, there's a real world economical aspect to this, right? Like if you're just coming in, I'm talking about the Federal Reserve. I don't get what you're saying.
I'll tell you what, I missed that comment, but Ginny and Sue are having a conversation around us that's really, I mean,
yeah,
Sue, I was so upset about losing creative mode, but I also know the benefits of survival. My first builds were in survival, and I do feel like survival is where the value is going to be created. Creative mode is fun, but it loses much value of the creating with the whole process. Ginny, to make one concrete powder block, 4 sand plus the dye plus 4 gravel to make one concrete, that beautiful white and turquoise and red pyramid that the transport center, there are literally tens of thousands of concrete, powder blocks in that build. So if I had to craft all that concrete, right? So I'm going to go into this with the thought that there's going to be an emotional process when I have to change from creative survival. And this is, Ginny really gets this. And that is just to make 8 concrete powder blocks. It's an effort. We won't talk about getting white dye, which takes making bone meal from composters. If we don't have skeletons, hostile mobs, that's 8 items to get 1 bone meal to dye 1 thing. So like there's the expense of making these things in the game is part of that. I feel like that should be part of the economy. And it feels like short circuiting to just conjure 8 million quartz blocks into the world rather than have to go somewhere and dig them out of the ground, or pay someone else to do it, or pay for the labor of someone else who takes the time to make those things.
As much as I agree with that, though, like as much as there's a lot of hypocrisy involved there, Greg, and I'm not trying to be mean, but there is a lot of hypocrisy involved, right? Because like you guys are building on Chicken Ka with creative mode, and then other people who are going to be coming in aren't going to be allowed to use it, right? So
but that's not what we're saying at all, right? That's the whole idea of having a sunset provision is the day we switch creative mode off, and I would have to take a vote with my other 8 members. Let's do it today. If they want to do that, we'll shut off creative mode today, and I'll feel really good about that choice. But if we're going to sunset it, you know, you have it for 60 days or 90 days or however long you have it, and then it's gone. Great. But then there's going to now I feel like that's when you're going to lose people. I wish we had never turned on creative mode. I wish we had never turned mobs off. Would the growth of the project have been as fast and as rampant as it has been? Nope, it wouldn't have been, and it might not have ever developed into anything because it's just a normal Minecraft world. So I don't know. I'm.
Yeah, so and like I do understand where you're coming from, and Anders, I'm reading your comments in the thing as well, and I'm 100% on your side when it comes to the in-game economy. The only reason that I do think that creative mode should be enabled is for projects who are coming in who are building displays. And Anders, you were gone, by the way, so I'm just going to mention this again. Probably maybe even as part of the Deckathon, but I'm not quite sure. Maybe after the Deckathon, we're going to put together another roundtable on this topic specifically. Corey and I actually talked about this a couple days ago, and we're thinking about making the roundtable part of our show. And we've got some ideas for different roundtables. They won't always be about the uplift. We'll maybe have some BP and Chill roundtables, some Media Moguls roundtables, and I think this discussion deserves to be on that. It's going to be heated, but I think that's okay because we're a pretty chill show. We're pretty light and chilled, and this is a hot topic, and I don't want to skirt issues, right? I want to give people a chance to put their ideas out there in the open. You know, we try to go through and read all of your comments for all the people who are writing them, but obviously we miss it, and we might not get the tone right. So I again, as a non-Minecrafter, as a person who's just learning the game, looking at Anders, who's probably pretty much in the same boat and actually built a community around like building what he's building to do it in the way that he wants to do it. I totally understand that point. On the same side of things, like I think that like I'm kind of, if I had to vote right now, I would vote with you, Greg, on the sunsetting type of thing, right? Like you can come in, you can use it. Anything that's done on the plot, like, again, not even sure if it's possible to do that with the parameters that exist. But I think, yes, you can totally be a knight, Anders, if you're attached to the round table. As long as you just change your skin. And if you really want to get under, you know, the people who do creative mode skin, just change your skin to like, yeah, just put a cat feather in your helmet. It'll be good. But yeah, like I think we could go on for this for ages. And
yeah, I'm ready to wrap up too. It's time for me to do some other things with my day.
Yeah. So I like, yeah. And I that's what happens when I get bottled up for like an hour and I don't get to speak. I just go on random rants that like don't make any sense. Shouting from the balcony. But yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that you joined us, and it's not our normal BP and Chill episode. I wasn't actually even going to name it BP and Chill, but I think like at times these kinds of episodes are good. So
I'm wondering now if Corey's regretting having invited me.
No, I don't think at all. And I don't think Corey would ever regret inviting you.
Well, it's not our first heated discussion. So
no, but I think like these things need to be said. And one of the things about this channel or this show, obviously, like you've been doing shows with Corey a lot longer than me on a lot more heated topics than this, right?
That's true.
But one of the things about this show, one of the reasons I actually like doing the show with Corey, but maybe you agree, maybe you don't. But there is no game plan. Nothing is scripted. Everything comes out as it is. Decisions are made on the fly with a live audience of 100 people. You know, like everyone kind of gets their say. I mean, pretty authoritarian sometimes, but at the same time, we're just going to do what we want to do. But at the same time, you know, everyone at least gets their say. And this is a lot different from, I don't know, let's say Block One, where everything happens, you know, behind closed doors and the community gets no information, or like CNN or Fox, where they're just relaying information that they want to hear, right? So, yeah.
That's been a thing for us. Sometimes, like, I came to this from radio broadcasting, where we never dropped F-bombs and we were very careful and scripted. And so my podcast was much better organized than his, and it had ads with music beds, and like it sounded like a radio show. And Corey's was just a bunch of dudes sitting around drinking Jameson, swearing at each other, right? And so like over time, we've kind of gotten closer to the hub, you know, from those polar points on our propeller. So you know, I totally understand what you're saying about working with Corey. He's my favorite person that I've ever worked with in this regard. So his approach is magical and hard to repeat.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and I don't do videos, right? Like I don't do games. Like
I didn't want to do video at all. He talked me into it. I was a podcaster. You know, he mocks me now. Oh, I just want to be a voice in the night, radio guy. Welcome. Do you use the telegraph too? Ha ha ha. He thinks it's very funny that I come from radio. But so, yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I think we're gonna wrap it up for today. So tomorrow we're not really sure what's gonna happen. We had a plan to talk about maybe the land sale stuff, but we're still working out some feedback from the community, so I'm not really sure if that'll be ready.
I really wanted to ask Corey today, how do you feel about how the land sale went? And we never even got to that.
The rail sale, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. So we talked about that a little bit last night. I think we were all kind of surprised and like, yeah, I think he was kind of ecstatic. I mean, he was kind of over the moon. So.
I was emotional about it, and I really don't have a stake in that part of this. And it's watching how fast it happened was it was pretty moving. It's pretty cool to be a part of something that has that kind of groundswell. It was neat.
Well, I mean, I was on the stream, like we were watching it in real time, and I didn't get one of the larger rail things. Like they were gone in 4 seconds, right?
Donna got a 10. So she's competing with all these guys with 4 computers and a big plan. Laugh Track with her laptop got a 10-pack. So
yeah, that's good. But yeah, like I think, but there were a lot of things that came out from the community, which I kind of sympathize with. Like, you know, I honestly, like, I was gonna go to bed. I wasn't planning on like staying up, but you know, we decided that we would do a show, and I was up, and I had so much fun. I actually missed the Bitcoin Origin set, which I'm really choked about, because yeah,
I listen. The NFTs I have are ones that either Corey or M Blue gave me. Or other people, like Crypto Monkeys, Ken Bozak, they've all given me a few here and there for helping them learn how to do Minecraft. And I bought one set of Atari ones. That's basically all the NFTs I've ever bought. Most of the other ones have been, you know, gifts or packs. And yesterday I set my girlfriend up with a Wax account and gave her first NFTs. So she's really, you know, she figured out that this is a cool thing. So
I hope you didn't give her an Atari NFT.
Should I not have done that?
I don't know. I just think it's fun. Sorry, I should be nice. I'm sorry.
No, be mean. I don't know. I thought I bought them because they're the 2600 games that I played when I was a teenager.
Yeah, fair.
You know, so
it's interesting, right? Like there are those collectible NFTs that people like, but then there's the people who are in it for gamification, and that's the thing, right? That this goes back to this whole conversation that we've been having about Minecraft. There are worlds colliding here, and that's what's an interesting aspect of it, right? So apparently you've got a spa date with Any Observation invite. So do that up, Greg.
I mean, you know, yeah, that's on my list of things, and I put my Wax account in the thread here. There you go. Anyhow, so
for any of you who are still listening, so tomorrow we're not sure. We might do that. Wednesday, we're going to on this show. Like Greg has his own. Like Greg does his own shows on this channel. Like we're not even a YouTube channel anymore, man. We're like a network. Like. So,
well, yeah, and I have my own YouTube channel, but I'm never there anymore. So
yeah,
it's kind of.
So Greg does his own shows. If you want to shout out your shows upcoming week, that's okay. But like this is our show, so I'm going to shout out mine for sure, or ours for sure. On Wednesday we got something really cool. We got Sean coming back from Crypto Writer. We loved having him the first time. He busted our good friend Bonds' chops on the air. For like a half an hour. And as Corey said, he actually wanted to reach through the screen and give him a hug. He felt so bad, but these guys are really good friends. It was super fun. Crypto Writer just released or is in the process of releasing kind of an NFT line of their own. As I understand it, Crypto Finny. And apparently tomorrow, Finny comes to Earth. I'm not really sure what that means, but it's kind of cool. And we're definitely going to have some cool giveaways happening around that Wednesday show. On Thursday, we're kicking off the DACathon. So probably Thursday, Friday, and all of next week at least, probably a little bit more. We're going to be doing some DACathon coverages with the Crown guys and stuff like that. So what do you got coming up, Greg?
Corey and I try to do a show on Tuesdays and Fridays. The time floats. Usually we try for 10 a.m., but that's right after your show. So sometimes we're a little, we're very flexible. We were going 3 days a week throughout the entire campaign season in the last several years. For obvious reasons, because we did a very political show. But we're sort of flexible right now. If we get on at any time on Tuesday and Friday, we feel like that's, and of course, our people that don't watch us for Minecraft stuff or for Uplift stuff, they're a little disappointed we're not talking about other things now. But this is sort of immersive. We both are really invested in making this work. And so that's what our time is now. But I'm also going to be involved in DACathon, apparently. We're going to be Lisa has asked me to step up and host a few things because she's not sure about her internet connection. And it's going to be an educational experience for me because I don't know anything. I know less about DAC than I do about NFTs. So it'll be a thing where I get to learn. And I guess I'll probably ask some pretty good questions because, there's things that we use a lot of acronyms in this world. And I'm going to be stopping people to ask them to explain what an acronym means before we move on, So I'm actually looking forward to DACathon. I plan on learning a lot. We want to do something about organizing Chicken Ka, right? We want to make sure that we have some sort of governance model that we can make decisions from that benefit the people that decide to be there in the Minecraft world. And that's what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point, right? Like that's one of the things. Again, I'm going to say this again. This is one of the reasons I'm most excited about gaming and NFTs and this project that we're working on. In particular, we have the chance to be able to bring people that aren't into crypto into this world. And those people, quote unquote, are going to ask stupid questions. Those questions are not stupid. Every single person who went through this journey did it. And just because you did it in 2014 or 2012 or 2008 doesn't mean the questions aren't stupid. Actually, the questions are probably more pertinent and more placed today with all the things that are going on in the mainstream economy. So I think that's a really important, thing to make because we're not quite at the point where people trust cryptocurrencies or people understand that there's problems with governance, right? Like, I mean, especially in America, you've been doing this political show for years. Like, I used to teach. I used to teach American history and politics and governance in schools in the U.S. Right? It drove me crazy, and I got hauled into the office all the time and yelled at because I'm not allowed to teach stuff like this in a two-party state. A two-party state is not a freaking democracy. God damn it! I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna tell my students that every single chance that I get. Right? And so things like this, right? But then you look at blockchain politics, like what's happening on EOS, where you have friends voting friends in. Some of these people are friends of mine, and I'm really happy that they've been voted in. But governance is always going to be like that, and we keep reaching towards the Athenian ideal I'm going to come on your show sometime and we're going to have this conversation, Greg. But we pushing towards the Athenian ideal, because the Athenian was the epitome of democracy, which is what American democracy was born out of. No, not really. Probably at the time, the Spartan constitution and organization of state was probably more democratic in the way that we understand democracy now today than the Athenian one. Yes, there was 2 kings. Yes, there was a lot of things that happened with slaves and things like that. And yes, really bad people like Hitler put Sparta up on a pedestal to be able to commit atrocious crimes. But the Athenian democracy was citizens, and to be a citizen, you had to be rich, you had to be wealthy, you had to have power, you had to have money.
Yeah.
That's not a democracy, right? Like,
yeah, you know where I learned this? I actually know this, and I know it from John Keegan's History of Warfare, that he talked about the much more democratic model, because people that were familiar with shedding blood were shepherds and farmers.
Yeah.
Right. So if you wanted guys to go stand shoulder to shoulder with spears and kill other people, farmers were your go-to, because they were not squeamish about it at all. And that led to them having a much more ground-based democracy model in Sparta than they did it. I actually know that, but from a weird kind of counter study.
Yeah, so to bring that back to blockchain and governments, right? Like Corey points this out all the time. Like, no, Bitcoin is not decentralized. Like the 99% of not 99%, but a lot of the miners are in China, right? Like, so I think like you'll learn a lot from the Dackathon. And for me, like, I really like that, because I'm just going to tell you this. I mean, I'm going to plant seeds in your head so that you can have this in the back of your mind when you're doing this. But I believe that blockchain is the ultimate form of governance. And here's why. I don't necessarily always think that democracy can work, as bad as that is to say. In the world that we live in now today, where education is severely flawed, social media is severely social media is basically like the real world on shaders. Let's just put it that way, right? Education is flawed. People don't learn critical thinking near as much as they used to. We are fed the information that we can get. And again, I'm going to bring America up because it just really annoys me that you get 2 choices, but like, it doesn't really matter who you choose. And I'm not going to go into it, but like living in Japan is like, probably worse, right? Like Japan is probably in a way, Japan owns more of the economy than China, for example, in a sense, right? But here's the thing. This is what I would like to see. I would like to see a representative democracy based on blockchain. And you vote for your representative. You vote for your representative of government that gets voted into power. It's all the same. Now, that representative has a certain allocation, whether it be 20, 30, 40% of essential services funds that they can put towards education, they can put towards healthcare, they can put towards whatever else, right? But the rest of the funds that are allocated go on the blockchain, and every single person in the state or every single person in the community has a chance to go in there and vote yes or no. So the other 50% or the other 60% or the other 40% of the funds that are not deemed essential, healthcare, hospitals, things like that, the people themselves actually get to decide where their taxes are spent. If you want to spend them on roads, fine. If you want to spend them on, the city Christmas party, fine. You can actually go in there and you can vote. The representatives themselves don't get to decide where the money goes. They're the ones that actually get to make the proposals, right? So what you're voting for in the real world is people to make proposals that you support so that you can vote on them.
I got you.
Right? And so I think this is kind of where like DAC governance is leading, because the custodians of the DAC are the only ones that are able to make the proposals. And then the people who are part of the DAC are the only ones who are actually able to vote on the proposals. But there are DAC structures that allow for various communities where those communities would vote up representatives. And it's a really interesting concept that, like, coming from your background, Greg, I think you're really going to enjoy being a part of.
Yeah, and we get a black eye, and we deserve it in the last decade, but we're moving in the right direction in some way. We have several states now that are doing ranked choice voting at the state level. And that's fascinating to me. That's something I never saw coming even 5 years ago. Where it's not first past the post anymore. It's not head to head. I'm not sure that'll happen anytime soon in our presidential elections. But states like Maine, Vermont, some of the more I wouldn't even call Maine a progressive state. There's more gun owners there per capita than anywhere else in America. But they're moving towards ranked choice voting for things like county commissioners and state legislators and even governor. And that's fascinating to watch. And the expert in my world about that is Ginny Rippert in the thread here. Ginny knows this stuff backward and forward way better than I do. So I do have to go. I got to get out of here. I got. Here's the thing. I have my first ever court appearance for a subpoena this week about a counseling thing. It's not me. I'm expert witness. First time that's ever happened. So twice this week I have to go make a court appearance, and I have to do some prep for that. So I got to get.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. We'll have you on again soon sometime. I do apologize. I get really excited at this hour of the night. We'll see you all very soon on our show or on Greg's show on the Uplift.
Thanks for letting me play along today.
You're very welcome. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go.